Hello everyone, Science Viking here, and it's time to continue the Let's Play of Myth of Fallen Lords.
Tuesday, July 21st, Rhiannon. I am not a coward. I think that my actions over the last 17 years prove this. Yet I was relieved to not be among those chosen to die. In 4 hours, just after sunrise, the 2,200 survivors of the Legion will attack Balor's fortress. Those men will surely die. There are perhaps 500,000 of the enemy between here and the stronghold. Alric left at dusk, alone. The old maps, he says, all show a world not in Rhiannon, though it has never been used in our time. He intends to find it and bring through 100 picked men to a point he believes will be almost on top of the fortress. From there, we go after Balor. We have watched a dim comet grow brighter each night until now it is visible by day, and at night brighter than the moon. Some of the men have taken it as an omen for ill, but only the next few days will tell. Before he left, Alric told us that Madrigal had fallen.
Well, that's depressing. I mean, way back in the beginning of this Let's Play, we worked really hard to save Madrigal. Now, I guess I leave Madrigal alone for 10 minutes and that happens. Anyway, this is a very cool level. Why is this a cool level? Because in this level, we get to control Alric. I told you he would pay us back for escorting him in out of the barrier, and now it's time. Because you see these? These are dispersal dreams. Anyway, before we show off our new toy, I'm going to go get us up a fresh recording file. I will be back in a second. Alright, we have a lovely fresh recording file. Let's take this guy out for a spin. Our first job is to find the world knot so that we can summon in the rest of our guys. It's not too much of a walk. This also gives us an opportunity to get used to what all Alric can do by himself. And our first obstacle are these small individual myrmidons just kind of wandering around here. Alright. I'ma fight you. And yeah, Alric is quite strong in melee. However, as you see there, I turned towards that Myrmidon, it immediately turned around. Some of them will try to do that using basically hit-and-run tactics. Where, like I said, and then I turn to face it, and it turns around and tries to run away, and then I turn away from it, and it comes back towards me. And, yeah, I guess this one's decided he wants to fight now. So yeah, some of them will just run up and actually fight us normally. Some of them will try and use these hit-and-run tactics. But no matter what, they're not really much of a threat. You can catch up to me. Alright. Fighting these guys is really more tedious than anything. And we can already see on the map, and now we can see for real, here's the world knot. But before we do that, this would be a bit much for Alric to take on in melee. I'm not actually 100% sure he can't take this whole group in melee, but it would be a mistake. Because we can do that. A couple of them survived. Yep, we actually get to control dispersal teams for this level. We have a total of 4, of which we used 1. No matter what, you will pretty much definitely have to use 3. It is possible to use only 3 instead of using 4 if you do things just right. Alright. That's the other large group. I'm just imagining Alric turning to them and just being like, "I'm busy, go away," and then he blows them all up. And yeah, This is the world knot that hasn't been used in living memory. I guess we know why now. Though it's actually possible that the Dark did the same thing to this one that we did in Force 10 from Stoneheim, where they took out one of the pillars to prevent us from using it to bring people through, just like we did before. Of course, in an emergency, Alric can function as a world knot pillar. The fact that he needed to use a world knot at all, though, is kind of confusing, because remember, in Out of the Barrier, he was able to teleport everybody away. Though it's possible that that's because he was bringing through a much smaller group that time. He was only transporting himself and then the survivors of the 5 champions. Whereas this time he's bringing through a lot more guys. Okay. Where are my inexperienced berserkers? I know we have them. I know they exist. Yeah, the first thing we want to do is move away from the knot and actually go this way, because we're going to need to set up an ambush. This should be far enough. Every time I set this ambush up, I feel like it isn't far enough back.
Sir?
And so I'm setting it up pretty far back. Yeah, we have 7 archers, 2 journeymen, and some berserks. Interestingly, neither of these journeymen is 6-motion Bloody Jaguar, which is really confusing, because he never died. It's not like he died and they've brought in a noob to replace him.
Let's go.
He's still alive. 11 and 12.
Let's go.
And 1 journeyman on each side. And then Alric up here. You over here.
Yeah.
Alright. So my berserks in 2 groups because we're setting up a fairly standard ambush, and so this way the berserks can rush in from both sides, and the archers don't get caught out. And then I have Alric up in the front because the plan is going to involve a dispersal dream. Okay, you have no experience, so let's pick someone from this side as well. You have no experience. Because we're going to lure the enemy.
Yeah.
The way it works is there are essentially 3 different groups of enemies, and we want to get the attention of all 3 at roughly the same time. Or rather, in a specific order.
Yeah.
So it's going to take 2 berserks working in tandem. There is a group of Trow on top of this rise, which it's pretty much impossible not to get their attention. There's a group of Myrmidons down here, or up here, and there's a group of Myrmidons down here. We want the attention of both groups of Myrmidons. And also of the Trow. And we want to kind of lead them together. And yep, my berserks handled that one lone Myrmidon perfectly fine. Get everybody back into formation. And we can see one of the Trow up here.
Let's go.
Okay, you have that group.
Let's go.
Alright. Both groups of Myrmidons are moving. Now we want to lead them into this center area. This is a fairly difficult maneuver to pull off, but it's extremely rewarding if we succeed.
I'm moving.
And notice that conveniently the rest of our forces are nice and far away, so they won't draw the attention of the Myrmidons.
Yeah.
Alright, and the Myrmidons don't quite want to move towards us just yet.
Let's go.
We're going to need to entice them a bit. Like I said, this is a fairly challenging maneuver to pull off. Okay, why are you guys... Come on, fight me. You know you want to fight me. Ah, crap. Now we have the attention of the Trow. Okay, retreat. And this is why I chose inexperienced berserks for this, because, well, the berserks tend not to survive. Okay, retreat. And this is why I chose inexperienced berserks for this, because, well, the berserks tend not to survive. Okay, retreat. And this is why I chose inexperienced berserks for this, because, well, the berserks tend not to survive. Okay, retreat. And this is why I chose inexperienced berserks for this, because, well, the berserks tend not to survive. goal is that the Trow will clump up as part of the same group as the Myrmidons, and will get trapped, will essentially get stuck behind the Myrmidons. Just...
Let's go.
Okay. It is extremely unlikely that the Berserk will survive. Aim directly at the Trow. Banged here, we appreciate your
Casualty.
sacrifice. Alright. And using the second dispersal stream also to hit the Trow. And also Alric a little bit.
Yes.
Ready?
Crap.
Got him!
Alric, run, 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 run.
Yes?
It was incredibly close. If Alric dies, obviously we lose. He's kind of important to the plot. If he'd been hit one more time, that would have been
Ready?
game over. However, we did use up all the dispersal dreams, but we lost 2 berserks, neither of whom had any experience, and we used up the dispersal dreams. That being the total cost of that fight with about 30 Myrmidons and 2 Trow, I'd call that a resounding success, honestly. So now, that was also the vast majority of what we're going to have to fight. Now we just head west into this river of blood. Yeah, that's why you want your ambush that you set up over here to be very far back. You want to give the enemy plenty of time to kind of let their formation break down, so that they're just all in one big clump that's easy pickings for a dispersal dream. And yes, a dispersal dream can bounce between a pair of Trow for quite a while, hitting each of them multiple times, and adding up to a very large amount of damage. Though this is the only level in which you can actually use that. Okay. And our next and final obstacle is just a whole bunch of thrall. We could
Let's go.
set up our archers and set up an ambush and gradually
Over
wear
here.
the thrall down before
Sir?
taking them on in melee, but I'm not going to because it isn't really necessary. They aren't much of a threat. At most,
We'll do
we'll
it.
lose a berserk or 2.
I'm moving. We'll do it.
Casualty.
Well, we lost a berserk. That can happen.
Let's go.
And now,
I'm
the
moving.
second wave of thrall will
Over
rise
here.
up out of the same body of
I'm
blood.
moving. Yeah. I'm moving.
And the trick is that since they're in this one long line,
Let's go.
it's
Yeah.
easy to take them out by clumping our
I'm moving.
melee
Yeah.
all together
Kill.
over here, so that we do most of our damage concentrated in one area. These 2 journeymen had way too much trouble taking on one thrall.
Get back up.
And ah, crap. I wasn't expecting that. And now, since that's the level exit, I guess they just decided, oh, we reached the objective, fight's over, and then both groups just kind of wander off together. Anyway, yeah, that is the most mileage you'll get out of a single dispersal dream right there. Anyway, that's going to be the end for this part, as usual. This is Science Viking signing off. I love you all. I'll see you next time. This can fail, but if it works right, the trow will wind up getting caught behind the myrmidons. Okay, this is as close as the myrms can be to us before we have to activate the dispersal maneuver. Okay, whoa. Shit! Shit!
Casualty.
Ah!
Casualty.
Those are dangerous!
Casualties.
Yeah.